Star Wars, literally a franchise no one no longer cares about. Good job, Disney. You did it. I'm so glad for you. Taking a billion-dollar franchise and just absolutely smashing it into the mud. 10 out of 10. Honestly, who else could have done it? Probably no one. In any case, if you are one of those 5 Star Wars fans left standing and non-disappointed, this one's for you, because we have Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. A new game in the Old Republic setting, and it's made by one of the core people who made Dragon Age the Veil God, Mass Effect Andromeda, and that's literally it. That's the lead. That's the guy making it. So have fun. I'm sure someone in the, but he also made Mass Effect 1 and 2 and 3. Yes. 20 years ago, he did something that mattered once. And after that, he has literally only participated in things that people would consider heresy most of the time. So I'm sure that has absolutely no impact on the quality of this future game. Oh yeah, it is not a good time to be a Star Wars fan. Well, to be fair, it's not a good time to be a lot of kinds of fans. Wokeness and all the bad things in gaming and in media in general are, again, hitting high curves.
Oh, man.
And I personally think this is going to be an extremely woke game.
Oh, man. This is already so good. I live for this, man. This fills me with so much life.
Is it?
I love that this is already a...
Well, guess that is literally fate just kind of answering my my question right there, because it's probably not gonna be good. Listen, when Mr. Matty plays is excited, you know some kind of Fallout 76 catastrophe is awaiting on the other side. Isn't that great? Isn't that grand?
Emotional roller coaster, man. I love this. Today, again, we're talking about Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, the spiritual successor to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Spiritual successor, he said. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are getting angry about that comment.
My favorite game of all time. I can get used to saying that sentence. Now, when I saw this trailer, in all rationality, Matty at his most objective, I saw that and thought, you're down the line. You're what's next after the KOTOR remakes do their thing.
Obviously.
But holy smokes, Casey Hudson's back, and holy smokes.
Yeah, this is the guy I'm talking about. If we look at his IMDb profile, this guy's a massive red flag. This guy is who you take if you want to destroy a franchise. Oh my god, is this guy bad news?
He's doing Star Wars content, and holy smokes, they're committing to the Old Republic in a new way, trying to kind of reignite that generation all these years later. Like, the stars completely aligned. But again, seeing all that, I understood looking at the trailer alone before I even read the interview on StarWars.com that this project was seemingly a ways out. It's early days, new studio, etc., etc.
New studio. Oh yeah, that also. Well, to be fair, what do we actually think about new studios? Is that a boon or is that a bust? I'm not even sure. Nice face.
Well, we got a response from Mr. Hudson, and it's because some news started to get picked up. So let's go down the timeline, and this is going to be a fun one, because I think even though what Jason Schreier said is being put out a bit by Casey Hudson, and there's a little he said, she said going on now, we can still be rational and have a conversation about when we could realistically expect this and what's happening.
I refuse to be rational.
Between now and KOTOR. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here and you were into Star Wars, Old Republic, anything, we got a place for you, man. You like the MMO, you like KOTOR, you're into KOTOR. You're in the right place. Come on, get cozy. Consider subscribing. Okay, so what really set this all off is after the trailer dropped.
Money. It was money. It was corporate greed, I'm assuming.
And the Game Awards wraps up. The following day, Jason Schreier takes to his Blue Sky account and says, last night's biggest surprise was Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, you can say that again, led by Casey Hudson, who directed KOTOR and Anthem. Just had to get that in there, but exciting news.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he was also on Anthem. Yeah, that just adds more doubt.
For lots of people, but Lucasfilm said the studio was founded this year, which means that 2030 is an optimistic guess. Maybe it'll be a PlayStation 7 game. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and defend Schreier a little bit, because people took what says an
Why would you ever willingly defend Jason Schreier?
Optimistic guess and maybe PlayStation 7 game, and it turned into headlines. And this is why we should not report on other people's very clear opinions that were stated here. What Jason Schreier is doing here, which I think is correct, is...
Listen, I will report on anyone's dumb opinion if I feel like it, okay? You do not tell me what I can't and cannot talk about. And Jason Schreier's opinions are some of the dumbest. So thank you very much. I will enjoy reporting on them and talking about them.
It's reminding us of the very nature of AAA game development. It takes a long time. Now, this started to gain a lot of traction.
By the way, the idea that this game is 5 years away because it's a brand new studio is kind of insane. Because a AAA game being made in 5 years is currently not the reality that we live in. Not at all, in fact. This is rare. 5 years. Look at Fable. Fable's been cooking for a decade and a half now, almost. And it's gonna be garbage.
And it flattened a lot of people out. And I think there's still that up in the air, will it happen, won't it happen, that is accompanied with any CGI trailer announcement, unfortunately. And I think if you're in the camp of being frustrated by a CG trailer that's still, look, 2029 at best, as we'll talk about, it's still years away. You're like, damn, dude, I wanted it now, or I wanted it in the next year, like 2027, the latest. I think your reaction is fair, and I understand where you're coming from. To me, the question I want to answer before we get into what Casey Hudson said is, why did they announce this so soon, right? There's two reasons. First and foremost, game leaks are all the rave, man. The reason we only knew something Old Republic was coming was because of Kurakasis, who leaked the Star Wars Zero Company title at one point. We went, oh, he said something new, Old Republic is on the way. It's got to be KOTOR. But when he said it wasn't Knights of the Old Republic, like right before I went live on stream, I was like, what the hell is it? I think if that moment got leaked, it would have been one of the few times I would have legitimately been salty about a leak. That's a moment that you just cannot recapture. So I understand pulling the trigger because it is a gaming magic moment. And it's one that admittedly plays into my bias. Okay, I'm saying it out loud. This plays into my taste. This plays into the things I love. So of course I'm for it. But also I do understand the rationale of, like, you don't want something like this to leak. It's going to happen. It almost happened. We were this close. This close. This is the second part of it. Well, what was the trailer for then, Maddie? I didn't get much narrative details out of it, though. I mean, we broke it down in our previous video. I think there's actually a lot you can take away from that trailer, and we did just that. So if you think this is KOTOR 3 or a follow-up to KOTOR, or that's a descendant of Revan or Bastila, you got another thing coming. I think this is a completely different story, and they've said as much. And I think I have an idea of what that story could be.
Yeah, we already know. Strong, independent woman, don't need no man. I mean, all the things that we currently have are already looking woke. The people who are making this sound woke, look woke, act woke, everything is bad. That's what I'm kind of trying to say here.
Into the High Republic. So
this is gonna be... I mean, this is one of those rare few things that can honestly get the Star Wars fans happy. This is one of those rare few things that people who enjoy Star Wars can be are looking at and be like, oh, I hope this is good. And when this drops, it's gonna be shit. It's gonna be the worst thing ever. There's gonna be no hope. And, I mean, it's just another day, honestly, in the world of a Star Wars fan. Disappointment and more disappointment. You know what would be... You know what I'm hoping for? The Acolyte Season 2. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hoping for that. I want roaring campfires in space. I want burning space brick. I want burning space steel, okay? Space steel. Space fires that can melt steel space beams. That's what I want. That's what we're getting. Okay, hashtag renew the Acolyte. It was the best thing ever. The Acolyte was so bad on literally every conceivable level. It was hilarious. I enjoyed it. Okay, it was that bad.
Check that video out. But why is this trailer here, Maddie? It's a signal flare. It's, for those who are not aware, these trailers are sometimes put out. I think of a Blade trailer from Arcane. It's a...
Oh, Jesus. What do you mean? When this Blade trailer dropped, people were like, oh, this is going to be horrible.
Shoot it in the sky. A bunch of devs see this thing. Contract studios see this thing. And partnership...
Listen, the whole point about Blade is be cool, dude, kill vampires. And they somehow messed this concept up. Okay, when you mess up something as simple as a vampire hunter, I don't know what you can't mess up.
Are formed to make this project a reality. Beyond, the fans and obviously the excitement there, it is the most frustrating form of trailer because it's us as fans seeing something we can't play, but also it's not indicative of the playable experience. And for the company, it makes sense because they're trying to build the fanfare and the, oh my God, this is a real project for like people like me. So then partnerships are formed, devs want to come work on this thing, and you build a nice, big, healthy team, and you get to work, and you make Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. So
how about we do this crazy thing as in make a job posting and offer money for services? How about that? Crazy. I know, crazy. Absolutely insane concept. But how about we just pay people to make a game and do a good job? How about that? How about we don't make magical fairy dust connections? How about we just pay people to make a thing?
It's a signal flare trailer is how I define it. Again, I think this was very clearly a hiring trailer. So with Jason's thoughts being picked up as
hiring trailer, just end my misery.
Headlines and people kind of puppeting them, I understand the frustration. I don't understand the shock and awe of it. And I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. Like, you know how I do things here. I know it may not be what some of you want to hear. I think the frustration is fair because we have a lineup of Star Wars projects that have met a similar fate. Here's Eclipse, here's 1313, here's Ragtag, hey, here's KOTOR Remake. We've all been there. We care about this franchise. We want it to thrive. We want good things to happen within it, and it feels like it keeps evading us. So if you're
I think most people don't actually care what happens to Star Wars now. I think Star Wars is just so fucking dead for most people that no one really cares. Well, there's obviously people who still care. But a lot of people have checked out on Star Wars as a thing.
Frustrated, you are correct, and I'm not...
Again, we're literally talking about this franchise that honestly should have been worth $1 trillion, and now it's barely worth maybe $100 million.
Here to tell you you're wrong, but if you were shocked, like, oh my God, the fully CG trailer is not coming out as a game for a while, I don't know what to tell you. I thought that was pretty clear. Now, these rumors start to pick up. They make their way to me. And as I already said, I was working on a video just talking about this without Mr. Hudson's comments. But it changes the whole dynamic of the conversation. I get tagged on Twitter, and here's Casey Hudson quote tweeting his still buzzing from last night. We're in early development, but we're looking forward to revealing more, and we'll be sharing it here. And he says, don't worry about the not till 2030 rumors. The game will be out before then. I'm not getting any younger. Okay.
That seems insane. You're telling me modern day development can make a game in less than 5 years? There's no way.
This was sports mode Maddie is outside. When I see this, I'm like, that's my MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. I see that. I'm like, yes, dude. This is the energy I want. Like, no, like 4 years tops. I love that. But energy is an emotion.
If they're planning, if a AAA company is planning to release a game in 4 years from zero, when they still haven't finished the staffing, well, that's by Mr. Maddie's claims, then I think the game is just gonna be AI slop. Like, how are you gonna finish a game in 4 years in a modern AAA setting? Like, there's no way. It's AI slop. It has to be. It has to be AI.
And I am experiencing a lot of them these last 48 hours. So what is my most rational part of my brain thinking right now? Bold statement. Can you back it up? Now, this tweet here, I'm going to be honest, is so bold that I look at it and think, Well, it has to be true because it's such an obvious shot in the foot if it's not true. And it's not taboo in our industry to sit here and go, hey, this is going to take a while. It's early days. It's a new team. Have some patience. We'll see you much later. For now, we're going to go dark. Like, we've seen it happen countless times. Again, I look at like Blade. When that got announced, they're like, yeah, we're going dark. Let us cook. Like, that's a really common thing. So if Casey is just shooting himself in the foot here, I got to ask,
what do you mean let us cook? Blade didn't cook anything. How long has that Blade thing been in development, by the way? It also has been like 10 years, hasn't it? It's not cooking anything. They want to replace Blade with his daughter, who's so much better and smarter and epicer.
Going on with my man. But again, it's so obviously a shot in the foot. That's why I'm a bit of a doubter that it has to be coming sooner, right? Well, let's take it a step forward, right? Because we're all asking the same question. How? Whether you're skeptical or you're hyped, how could this be? And all I've got to back it up is a good theory. If this theory proves to be untrue or impossible, then I really don't know why he would post something like this, and I don't know how they could pull it off. So that theory is this. When Casey Hudson left BioWare in 2020, he went on to create a new studio called Humanoid Studios. This was in June of 2021. Then started work on a new science fiction role-playing game. Go figure. What a lot of ex-BioWare alumni have gone on to do is try to make Mass Effect again. So they toiled away on that for years. It wasn't until the end of 2024 that unfortunately Humanoid Origin had to cancel the project because they ran out of funding, which was extremely common at that time of year, but also continued to be a common thing into 2025 with a lot of studio shutdowns and project cancellations. Now in 2025, Casey's got a new team and he's saying, hey, this game's going to be out. And I mean, again, a few weeks from 2026, we'll see you in 3 years. The only way I think this is possible is if they are inheriting the framework from whatever they were working on at Humanoid Origin and converting that into a Star Wars project. It helps that it was a science fiction.
They probably are, but making a thing and then reshuffling it to be a different thing, I mean, good luck.
Fiction game, right? So there's a lot of futuristic tech there that could be shared in a Star Wars universe. There's a lot of general terrain that no doubt they use that can be put into a Star Wars universe. So it's my prediction that a lot of the asset library that was needed to start the preliminary work on Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic was already there thanks to Casey's prior team that he was not too far removed from. Again, he created that studio, so that is why I'm led to believe that. Jason Schreier did respond and say, there is no not until 2030 rumor. There is someone pointing out that for a studio trying to simultaneously build a team and a AAA game, 2030 is an optimistic guess, and I do think this is a fair counterpoint. At the end of the day, I think this is how you have to look at it. Casey needs to deliver here. He has made a huge promise, and I will crash out if I'm...
Yes, I'm sure promises will be kept like always.
Lied to, but he has made a huge promise. If he delivers, it's going to be such an epic moment. If he doesn't, though, we're going to be looking at this going, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Game delays are common, so that's something that can also factor into all of this. But to come out with this type of claim, pretty confident thing to do. So we'll see. We'll see. Look, this is a bold claim. AAA is a strange environment. It's not wildly predictable like he's kind of making it out to be as far as I can tell. And we can look as far as companies like The Initiative who were working on Perfect Dark for a long while. Granted, I think the balance that...
What do you mean working on Perfect Dark for a long while? This whole thing got exposed to be 100% fake and the game doesn't even exist. And it got canceled, thankfully. Now, granted, when I saw this, I never talked about it too much, but I was like, yeah, this is not real. This is not real, okay? This is as real as the Witcher 4 tech demo. Oh boy.
Argument is simply that I don't think Xbox is a great place to foster talent. That much has been clear for a while these last two generations, but I think that's a great example of worst case scenario for a studio where they're just going and going and going. It's not working out well. The upside to it is when you have a really great team, I think of what happened with Jedi Fallen Order and then Jedi Fallen Order into Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Those games came out quick. They came out real quick.
Well, yeah, but you got one game and then you have the other that's built on already literally everything existing. Like, it's not like the next game was a complete remake of everything and completely new. It was literally done in the same engine and the same everything, and it still took 4 years to make. You need to understand, that doesn't exactly inspire confidence. At the way that I'm seeing this new Star Wars game, it's either gonna be a full-blown AI slop, it's either gonna be woke, or it's gonna be a 2035 game. There is no way it comes out in 5 years, unless again it's just a complete slop. That is not. There's probably honestly nothing that a miracle needs to happen to convince me otherwise, honestly, at this point. Because everything I have seen so far, and granted, things can change. Obviously, things can change. New information can happen. Some kind of development can happen. But for now, there's no world where I am seeing this and being like, oh yeah, this is gonna work out. It's not. This is just blatantly untrue, in my opinion. Anyway, that was Mr. Manny Plays 10 out of 10. Bye.